last chat for 2022, and we were aware that most families have already wrapped up their year. And seeing all the buzz on Facebook, a lot of parents are just buying their stuff for next year and planning what their schoolroom's going to look like and what hardware do they need. And there's like loads and loads of chat. So we're going to talk about 5 things that you need to homeschool successfully. So the question is it a schoolroom that you need? Is it a laminator? Is it a new bookshelf? Or is it something else and something deeper? And we came up with 5 things that we think any parent needs to homeschool successfully. And we're going to talk about them one at a time. And the first one we're going to talk about is love. And we always say that there is nobody else on this planet that loves your children the way you do. So if you have, and most parents do, have love for your child, you've got the first ingredient for successful homeschooling. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I think parents, people often are afraid that they might mess up their children's education, but you love your kids, and that's what's going to make you and drive you to find a solution when there are hiccups and challenges along the way. Whereas a teacher, I mean, there are some that are fantastic and that are committed, but some of them just don't even know the hiccups that your child are experiencing, and they don't have that long-term relationship with your child. And they're not going to be there next year for your child, because they get your child in the school system, your child's likely to move on to a new teacher. Right. So, the issue is only theirs for 1 year. Whereas with you, you're going to solve this thing because your child is your child forever, and you want them to, have the best education that they can get. Mm-hmm. So your love is actually what makes you successful.
Yeah, carries you through the good times and the bad times. And then along with that, I think the second thing is your commitment to your family, to your children, but also to the institution of homeschooling. Because we know that in the home and in homeschooling, there is so much more than just academics. We're committed to seeing our children succeed in whichever way that it looks. Success doesn't mean they've got the best marks on a matric certificate and they've got into the best university. That's not the success we're talking about. We want to see them succeed as adults and be happy and confident and moving forward with their lives. And that commitment that we have to homeschooling our children and being together in the home is another ingredient that carries us through.
Yeah, I think that is true. And I think that ties in with what I was thinking about, the perseverance that we need to have, because often we have a vision of things that we know our children need to accomplish, but sometimes they don't see the need to, change their attitude or grow in maturity and just take on what they need to take on and those kind of things. And I know that sometimes we doubt ourselves and we think, oh, we haven't trained them or we haven't taught them properly. And it's good to do a little self-check and see if you do need to tweak your child training or your discipline or your approach. But sometimes you've just got to be patient while they test boundaries and bump their head and learn a few lessons the hard way, because we are all individuals and some people just like to do things their own way. So sometimes you've got to just, push through and persevere through those times where it doesn't look like you want it to look, or they're not being trained and they're not taking the lessons that you're giving them when it comes to character and attitudes and all those things that take a long time to sort out. So the perseverance is something that I think is vital. Absolutely. For all of us.
So, and feeding onto that is the fourth thing that we identified, which is diligence. And that diligence is across the scale, from our character training of our little ones through to diligence in guiding and directing our children when they're in their tween and teen years, and even into young adulthood, just being there diligently for them. But it does also reflect on the actual things in homeschooling, like being diligent with teaching our children to read, write, and do maths, because we know that they need those 3 skills no matter what career they go into. and being diligent in finding the right resources for them at the right time as they are showing interest. There's a diligence that goes along with that persevering, like just when you're gritting your teeth and you're just hanging in there because you're going through a tough season, just to continue to be diligent in our homes, loving our children, being committed to them, doing what we need to do to raise up the kids, even when it is, like I said, hanging on by the nails. And the last one, the fifth one, Shirley?
Well, it's kind of covered by some of these things, but I think it is something different, and that is patience. Because sometimes you are sowing seed and you just have to wait to see that thing come to fruition in your children's lives. And, neither you nor me nor any other family has perfect children. We all see them struggling with things, making not so good choices. And sometimes we just have to be patient and be persevering and diligent and keep guiding them. But sometimes there's nothing more you can do except just love them and be patient. So I think patience is another character trait we need to look out for.
Yeah, for sure. And then also, if we take it from that space, which is 100% correct, and we put it into the days in our homeschools next year as parents face different challenges, to just patiently come alongside your children as they struggle. Maybe it's learning to read here and it's not going so well, or it's now getting into long division and it's just not going in, just again in that space. So it's patience for us as parents, waiting for the seed to grow, but patience in that time with our children. So those are them: love, commitment, diligence, perseverance, and patience. And I think that moms can go and get a laminator too if that's going to make them happy as well. Lovely chatting.